Okay. Here we go. Swooshy, swooshy, swooshy. Ugh. Sorry, still working on ideal placement. Ooh. Probably not with the window. Ooh. How's that? A blood pressure cuff. Only the fanciest. Okay, there we go. Zoom in a little more. Hi, people! Sorry, I'm still setting up my chair. As you know, well, as you can see by the clock, is it really? It's already 3:30. In Minnesota, the lighting options are quite dim. So if I sit here, hi! Okay. I do have a drink. Wait, where is it? Here. Iced coffee. Wait, I can lower this. Hi! Obviously, lots of tripod work to do. Hi, people! Okay, so there's a rather ominous title. Sorry, I didn't mean to freak you out, but I'll wait for a couple more people. Well, you can rewatch it. So this Kit Club sign up, I'm gonna move. Look at that, that's from Target. Got it with my Christmas gift certificate. Only the finest in this house. Okay, so this Kit Club sign up will be the last Kit Club sign up for a while. So that is, the March shipments are going out now. The sign-ups will open on the 20th, and that's for the May shipment, and that will be the last Kit Club shipment for the near future. And so this is kind of like I did a behind the scenes of the Kit Club tour a little while ago, and that was like 2 years ago. So I'm gonna do another one just talking about how, I know, it's a sad face, but it's going to get better. So that's why I'm doing this whole thing. I'm gonna talk to you about how it's been going, what I wanna change, and why it has to go down this way. I'm knitting, by the way. This is my Japanese feather and fan shawl with Space Cadet, which has a shimmer in it. Super nice. Okay. So as most of you know, thank you. The Kit Club I've been doing for over 3 years now. So I did 3 shipments at the start, which were prepay. The prepay was tough for a lot of people to do. So I took a break for like maybe 3 months or so to reorganize it into a pay by month thing, which is a whole different kind of technological problem to get the software so that you can pay by the month and have it, you know, you can cancel at any time, that sort of thing. So when you add all that up, it's close to 4 years now that I've been doing the Kit Club. Well, probably more like 3.5 years. This is the 19th shipment that's going out. So it's been a really long time. And I haven't raised the price since I started. So it is still $16 a month, which is the same price as one of my normal kits. And for that you get, sorry, I have to keep looking down because I'm purling and it's lace. And for that you get yarn, a pattern, the eyes, and a goodie. And the way I started the Kit Club was I imagined like, okay, well, I don't know if I can commit to making an exclusive pattern every month. And, you know, I want people to have like a goodie. It is a bargain. And so it's gonna like vary. So you would get one of 3 things each month. You would get an existing pattern that had like a new technique. So I've done things like showing you how to put beads on, how to dye the yarn, stuff like that. Sometimes the goodie would just be really good. So like the goodie I sent out this November had a retail value of $6. So for a kit that I'm supposed to still be making a profit on, a $6 goodie is like a lot for a $16 kit when you're still getting the yarn and everything else. And sometimes it was an exclusive pattern like this month. So it's a pattern that I designed just for the club and no one else can get. And it sort of rotates through all of those kinds of things. So sometimes you might get a pattern that you've seen before, but there's this new way to do it. Or sometimes it's a new pattern, or sometimes, you know. So the long story made short is I think that model is too confusing for most people and it's not really working. And here's why I say that. And I can say that because I've done this 20 times now. I will have people who have been members for more than a couple months, right? So let's say like 6 months or something. So this actually happened last month is like a perfect example. So last time's Kit Club shipment was a white skein of wool and Kool-Aid, and I did this like cool technique of like you make the animal first and then you dye it with like a brush. Like it was cool. I had never seen it done before. But the only way you find out what you're doing is if you log into the website that's on the special piece of paper that comes with the thing, right? And so I'm just explaining this for people who haven't had the Kit Club shipment before. So there's a piece of paper that says like, oh, well, if you want all the details and the special technique, here's the website and the password. And you have to log in to see like the details and the instructions, because it can be a lot to print out like a tutorial instruction or if there's a video. So I will get at least a dozen sometimes emails being like, hey, most of the time they're nice, sometimes they're really not nice, like, hey, you really messed up, like my pattern says I should get these couple of colors and I only got this white skein of wool, like there's something wrong. The mean ones go on to say like, you're a scam artist, you're stealing my money, and like I want a refund. The nice ones say like, just thought you should know. So then, like, this breaks my heart because, so the pattern is just like the normal pattern I send out with kits, right? So if you don't know that this is a special technique, then you're not getting the Kit Club, basically. I mean, in my opinion, like the whole point of the Kit Club is that you're doing something special with what I'm sending you. And so if you email me and say like, and I'm not like blaming anyone. This is what I figured out is wrong with the club. It's not other people's fault. But just what I've observed, like if you're emailing me and saying there's something wrong with the kit, that means not only did you not understand the instructions, so that's like a huge problem because like you think I'm sending out like doofo kits. It probably is the case that you didn't get the special goodie last time, because if you had gone to the website last time, you would probably know to do it this time. So like, it's just super worrying to me that I'm having people in the club for like 6 months or more, and they don't know basically what the point of the club is. Which just means to me, I've set it up completely wrong. And I think the crux of the problem is that sometimes it's a big goodie, sometimes it's an exclusive pattern. It is just for fun, and I think my hardcore customers know that. But I've gotten up to shipping 600 kits. And so there's my hardcore customers who totally read the instructions and get what everything's about, and they're always fine, right? They're perfect. It's these more customers, I know it's a heck of a lot of shipping, but some people, so like this is, okay, so this is going roundabout, but this is something I didn't expect from the start, is that people would sign up for my club who don't actually know me or FreshStitches, right? They see it shared on Facebook and think, oh, that's fun, I'll just get it. And I hadn't anticipated that at the start. I thought everyone who signed up for the club would be people who already know me, now they want extra. And it's actually turning out that so people, this is their introduction to FreshStitches, let's say, and now it's this super confusing kit that like the instructions aren't clear on or something, and that's just gone off the rails. So, and that makes me so sad. So the whole thing just has to go, and then there's been technical problems out the wazoo. Which is not I would not shut the club down for technical problems, because technical problems can be overcome, but oh my gosh, there are so many problems. So if you are interested in running a club, so if you're not like one of my normal customers, you're one of my designer friends who wants to run a club, I talked about the technical aspects more in depth on May Pak's Creative Live class, where I talk about why I switched from PayPal to WooCommerce and doing all these different things. And the system's gotten much better, and I do have faith in the system. But it's just massively more complicated to run a club. So anyway, I'll say, what am I gonna say? I'm gonna say the plan, and then I'll talk more about what's changed since I started, since I think that's kind of interesting. So my plan is for 2017, I want to start a digital only club, okay? Because another problem with the Kit Club is as the US currency has become more valued, shipping has gotten more expensive. I have tons of international customers who can't afford to be in the club anymore. And they want just the pattern, you know, they don't want me to ship a, you know, $6 skein of wool across the sea. Because it costs more to ship that than the price of the kit does. So when I started the club, a third of my customers were international. I'm just printing this month's off. I'm thinking, I don't know the exact numbers, but it's probably a tenth of my customers are now because it's so expensive to ship things overseas. And the way it is now, I can't do, like, I don't have a digital component to it. So my plan is for 2017, I'm going to start a digital only club where you'll get an exclusive pattern that will be downloadable. And then my hope is to reopen the club in 2018 or maybe the second half of 2017, I'm not sure, where you will get the materials as an add-on to the digital pattern club. So you would just say, hey, oh, I need the materials for the March, whatever. And so you're already getting the download, right? So one problem I hadn't anticipated is when I print it, so I print these patterns. The format for print is completely different from the format for PDF downloads. And in fact, the file, because it has to be print quality, is so big that I can't even upload it to Ravelry for you to download it. So then I have to reformat the whole pattern. So I think also one thing that has to come to an end is the printing the pattern to include in these kits that are different every month. I'll still include it for the pattern, you know, like Nelson the Owl in my normal kits. But it's just like crazy sauce. Reformat it, like, because I don't think you care if I've reformatted it right for print. Most people like the download and they want the download put in their library anyway. So that's just like doubling up the work. Yeah, exactly, right. So different people feel different ways. Like some people, like my mom lives, I'll say, well, she definitely lives close to a Walmart, but she lives about an hour and a half from a yarn store. I know everyone's hoping the Australian dollar will get better by then. But she can't get certain materials like near her. And so some people want the materials and some people don't. And that's why, so I just started, we launched the Mystery Crochet Along. And you can get the materials bundle. It's $8. It's just some yarn and some eyeballs and some Kool-Aid. And if you live far away and you can't get those items, then this is a great deal, super easy. I always charge the least I can for shipping. And if you don't need that service, then you don't have to buy it, you know? And so I think separating the new exclusive patterns from the materials is the way to go. What was I had this like whole chain of thought going on. Okay, so back to the club. So anyway, it's gotten super, super huge. So this month's, there's a new yarn in this month. I'm not giving much away, but there's a new yarn. This new yarn is from a very big company. So those of you in the club will find out when you get it. I bought all they had of about 5 or 6 different colors, right? So one problem I run into is it's incredibly hard for me to source these quantities, which like puts me in a real bind. I mean, none of this is a complaint. I'm just stating the facts of life. It puts me in a super huge bind if I have to ship out all of these kits by the 20th and there aren't yarn companies that have enough color. Like, it's just crazy. So I special order from a mill, and if I order it far enough in advance, I can get the quantities I need. It's a scheduling problem because no one, you know, the payments don't happen, you know, like 2 weeks, the payments happen like a month in advance. And that's often not enough time for people to ship out the items, ship out the yarn to me. Another growth problem I hadn't anticipated is the winding. So it's much more efficient now for me to ship a whole skein, just like, to be totally honest. So I have a commercial ball winder, and the whole setup is about $1,000. So it's a ball winder. I mean, it's really cool, but it's a ball winder. It's it automatically stops at a certain yardage, and that's just what I have to get these things out. But even with that, it takes me about, and I do everything by myself, right? So it takes me about 2 weeks of working, you know, a few hours a day to get all of the yarn wound for the club. So at the start, I only had 120 people. It wasn't that big of a deal, do. Now we're talking about half of my month. And so people really often say like, well, just hire someone. And that's kind of a good idea on, like, in theory. But so if I hire, I know Maddie could just grow up. If I hire someone, then should I buy a second ball winder? And what happens if the person breaks the ball winder because it's super sensitive? Like, those are all like like, it sounds super easy. Oh, just hire someone else to do it. Also, the difference between, for paperwork wise, and I'm not giving legal advice, between an employee and a contractor. So contractors very typically do piecework, kind of on their own time stuff, like from an IRS perspective, whereas employees are people who work 8 hours a day, responsible for a certain number of tasks, sort of thing. If I need someone here for 2 or 3 weeks to wind some yarn, that looks much more like an employee situation than a contractor situation. So I'm not saying these things are impossible, but the scale, like it going from one number to the next number, doesn't just get twice as hard. Like, things change. And I talked about my prices, so let me just give you an example about my price situation. So I get my envelopes from Uline. So you all probably know the Kit Club used to be shipped in boxes, so I would buy boxes from Uline. It got to the point, and I live near a Uline, it's just over the border in Wisconsin, like the warehouse, so I drive and I pick them up because it costs a fortune to have them shipped, you can imagine. So I used to get boxes, but there were I needed too many boxes and they wouldn't fit in my car. They just wouldn't fit in my car in one trip. So then I switched to envelopes, so I can fit all of the envelopes. I can just fit enough envelopes in my car. Well, now what has happened is Uline is charging a pickup fee. So if you don't order $350 or $250 worth of envelopes or boxes, they charge you a fee now for picking up, because you're congesting their like pickup zone or something. So the problem with envelopes is they're super bulky, but not that expensive and not very heavy. So what I've been doing is I'll say like, okay, I'll just stock up on something expensive to sort of fill out my order so I don't have to pay this pickup fee. So I have more tape than I need like for the next 5 years. I have more like clear little boxes than I need for like 2 years. So I've been buying as much extra crud as I can, and that's kind of difficult to do. So what's gonna happen is I'm gonna have to start paying this pickup fee, or I'm gonna have to pay to get these items shipped to me, which raises my cost. And the way it is now is I've been having it at $16 and I haven't changed that in a really long time. So that's part of the and after 4 years, like, prices change. So that's part of the structure that's existing. I also still have people on PayPal who haven't moved to the WooCommerce system. So that's not a bad thing. It's a huge operating expense. And also, I mean, I'm not even going to bother to show you what my hallway looks like, because I have 4 giant boxes of yarn, like this. Wait, my hand's moving up. This big. I have 5 boxes of envelopes, right? I have the printed patterns, which are a box that weigh like 30 pounds. Of course, I have eyes and all these kinds of things. So that's just where it is. I mean, it's not, I don't want anyone to think it's like a bad thing. Oh my God, it's over. It's actually a victim of its own success. Like, it's been crazy great. And I think things are so big now that they just have to change so that we can continue to grow and not be drowning. Because honestly, I mean, I work really hard and I don't complain about hard work, but like, I'm drowning in boxes. It does. So, I mean, the biggest thing that causes anxiety for me is the system hasn't, so one is getting the materials I need in time, and getting materials in a way so that I'm not ordering them like 5 months in advance and have them sitting in my hallway, right? Like, that doesn't work yet. I don't have a studio space, which may be the answer. In a year, I may end up with a studio space. Right now, to be totally honest, a studio space isn't practical for me because I still care for Maddie full time. So when she goes to preschool, great, I can have a studio space and go to work. Right now, I could bring Maddie to the studio, or I could put her in daycare, but then I'm putting her in daycare just so I can package more boxes. Like, I know it doesn't work out right now. So yeah, that causes me stress. And then also right now there are 2 payment systems going on, which is a little stressful. The biggest stressor is what I talked about at the beginning, which is that my average customer, so not my favorite customers, my average customer doesn't seem to understand how the club works. And at first I thought like, oh, that's not a big deal. I'll just put more questions in the FAQ, right? So now the FAQ is pretty much like the size of a dissertation. Like, what do I do if a box doesn't arrive? What do I do if I live in, Swaziland and the tracking number still says it's in Chicago? Like, I have so many FAQs. How do I change my address? How do I change the credit card information? And it's not working. There's no possible number of FAQs I could answer that fits my average customer. And like I said, not my favorite customers, my average customer. Because the club has grown so big that this is people's first introduction to FreshStitches. And so as a first introduction to FreshStitches, it's just not working. These packages don't even come with the cute little index cards that say, thanks for ordering from FreshStitches, because like, it costs too much with what I'm charging right now to include the business cards. Like, I know that sounds ridiculous, but like, I have to buy postcards that are printed and have them shipped to me and include them in the boxes if I want to include them, right? And to do that every other month is just crazy sauce. So you can feel free to ask questions if you have them. I'm not going to get into the super, super technical behind the scenes stuff, like about how WooCommerce subscriptions, plugins, blah, blah, blah works. But that's like how it is. So what was I going to say about that? Right, so I did a behind, oh, right. Oh, okay, so that's a really good question. So the question was, can we stay subscribed during the downtime? So there's 2 reasons I'm gonna say no. One, my web developer just joined. I've already spilled the news to her. So one is that I actually kind of don't really know how to do that, and it sounds like I can only do that with the WooCommerce people and not do that with the PayPal people, and that just adds more confusion to the delay, right? Like if you're in the club and then some people can put it on hold and some people can't put it on hold, like that's another level of crazy sauce that we're trying to fix. So that's the first reason for no. And the second reason for no is I'm not sure when it's starting again. It could be mid-2017. It might be 2018. Or drama might ensue and maybe I decide like never, ever, ever again. I might come to my senses. But what I'm going to do is I'm saving everyone's email address. So if you were in the club or if you sign up Sunday to become in the club, you will get an email 2017, whatever, 2018 saying, hey, you were in it, we've started up again. So you will be notified. The secret websites are always there, so don't worry about that. The secret websites are always up, and nothing changes about that. They're actually just secret blog posts, so they stay up like the same way as normal blog posts stay up. So everyone's going to get an email, and I do like rewarding people who are current subscribers. So there's a chance if you're a current member, I don't actually know if this is possible or not, but that you'll get some kind of goodie, some kind of like discount. I don't know. I can picture doing like your first couple months are at the old rate kind of thing, or a percentage off, I don't know, thing. So it benefits you to be a member. And I don't want anyone to do anything rash. I'm going to take care of all of the ending, canceling, whatnots. I don't want people, this is not a stress thing. I don't want anyone to become stressed about this. I will take care of it. And please don't flood my email inbox. So those of you who follow me will have noticed I still have my spring break notification up. And that's because it takes me so long to package the Kit Club. Like the rest of the world, like the people who find me through Google ads, I don't want them to know I'm here because I'm not really here. I'm packaging Kit Club things. Maddie went to the grocery store with Tim, and I had some quiet time, so I'm filming this now. But other than that, I am just like packing Kit Club shipments. So I am still on spring break, and shh, don't tell anyone. I have like hundreds of unread emails, and they're not getting answered until all the Kit Club shipments are out Monday morning. Well, like Sunday night, but the mail guy doesn't come, so I'm like not putting them out until then. Yeah, so there's also the level of shipping that happens is completely insane. So one thing I can picture happening in the future is that there are going to be a limited number of physical let's call them material bundles. And that's just something that has to, so, right, people want the exclusive patterns, and because of how the formatting happens, I haven't always been able to make Kit Club patterns become available digitally. So that will be able to happen in the future. And there may be a limited number of materials bundles that happen just because of the space issue, the storage issue, getting things on time. It's really, really complicated, especially one thing I'm also going to clarify in the next iteration is the expectations surrounding the goodie. So what's been happening often is that people sign up, and let's say you signed up for the November shipment. Well, the November shipment, I love the November shipment, that's like the goodie shipment, right? So I spend all the money on the goodie. Thank you. I spend all the money on the goodie that month, and I actually kind of don't really make that much money in the November shipment, because to me it's like, oh, you don't have to have been a member all year, but it's like holiday time, like I'm rewarding you for being a member. Great. So I send out like this super nice goodie, and then I got this email that was like in January, like ballistic, like that the goodie was crappy, and like it was bananas. Sorry if you're the person who sent me that email, but like it was bananas. Like, I'm scamming. Thank you. I'm scamming people, like, because the goodie wasn't as good. And it's true, the goodie in January is not as good as the goodie in November. But if the goodie in November, like, so let's talk about price, right? Okay, this club is $16. I would like you to go, if you're very worried about the price, go around and look at how much other clubs are charging, and the goodies that they give out and things like that, and tell me if $16 is crazy. It's not crazy. Like, that's the cheapest club I know of going around, especially for what you get. So like in November, I spend the whole bloody budget on the goodie, and I can't do that every month. I have considered the idea of a goodie club. Thank you. Where it's just a couple times a year and I pick goodies for you. I don't know if people are interested in that. And that would be limited numbers of people because, but like I was thinking of things like needle cases, like stuffed with needles or hooks or something like that. But then I can also just put them in my shop and not have the subscription kind of part. So that's one thing I've been really experimenting with. If you've noticed the website in 2016, I've really been experimenting with trying out new kinds of kits to see what people like. Oh, that's my phone beeping at me because someone said something to me. People are putting people aren't putting out any kind of kits. People are buying kits, the new kinds that I'm putting out, and I'm just seeing what people like. So I'm gonna just run and get a few things. Here, you look at my iced coffee. There you go. I'm gonna be back. Don't do anything. Don't do anything crazy. Okay. Here's one thing. Sorry, I didn't plan in advance. Okay, here's another thing. Okay. So these are, sorry people, these are some ideas. Well, actually, these are what's going to be live in April. So I'm going to show them to you. And these are the kinds of things that could become kits in the future. So this is super cool. So these are cross-stitch pendants. So I'm going to be posting a free tutorial and about how to cross stitch them in a rainbow pattern, and you'll get a jump ring and you'll get embroidery floss, and sorry, I haven't done my nails, hide, and you'll be getting these. So these are like craft and a tapestry needle crafty kits that aren't necessarily crocheting things, but I'm seeing what the interest level is. So have a lot of those, like a lot. And then the other thing that I'm putting up in April is these guys who are super cute. They are needle minders. So, oh, I have to open one. Hold on. I have to open one up. They're super cute little foxes, and they hold your needles like sewing needles while you're working, okay? So this, how ridiculously cute is that guy? Check him. So he's magnetic. I didn't bring a... Okay, anyway, pretend this is a needle. If you have like a tapestry needle or whatever, he'll just like that. And he has a magnet on the back. So you can just put it on... I really didn't plan this out. Okay, you can just put it on your pants or whatever. See, he's on my pants like that, or your sleeve or whatnot. And, you know, you'll have them. They're so cool. So he's going to be like $10. So you could put on your collar, whatever you want. So this is the kind of thing. And like, if I started a goodies club, that would kind of be the sort of thing that you would get. But obviously you can't get that in a kit for only $16 a month. Like, that just doesn't work. Like, I have to pay a lot of money for things, and then I would just be like giving that away. So that's kind of where it's at. I just wanted to do the periscope here. That one's already. Would you people just there stay? Okay, fragile. So anyway, I'll move all the things here. So that's just where it's at right now. So I wanted to give you a heads up because it's not. I don't want anyone thinking sad things like, oh my gosh, you know, something's gone wrong. The Kit Club's gone off the rails. We're taking a pause. I am experimenting. I'm not saying things. I'm doing I'm doing stuff that may or may not be a book. And right, so how do I answer that question? So I am doing things. I am also experimenting pretty heavily with FreshStitches in 2016 and planning this digital club in 2017. And I'm taking a vacation this summer. So anyway, that's how it's all going down, and why the Kit Club is going on siesta. So Friday, yeah, I know. So Friday, no, today's Friday. Sunday, the 20th, the Kit Club subscriptions open up. I think I'm just going to, I'm not going to say that. I'm going to let a lot more people join than I usually do because I know it's the last one. I'm not saying that there won't be a limit because there might be a limit. And then May would be the last shipment if you've signed up. The March shipments, everyone should have actually received their email already. They should have received one of their emails already, not necessarily all the emails already. And then throughout the summer and the fall, I have tons of new products coming in. And then based on how various products are selling, I'm going to use that information in planning how the clubs are going to go for here on out, if that makes sense. So some clubs may become more limited. I'm saying clubs like I'm really planning on having multiple. I am not committing to that. I'm not committing to that. They're ideas for clubs. But that is sort of the test for how things are going to go for the future. So I'll sit here and knit for a minute. Strike that, right? Strike that. I'm not committing to multiple clubs. I did not say that. I definitely think the main thing about a digital club is that it is a lot nicer for my international customers. So many of you know that I spend a lot of time in Australia. And particularly when we went back this year, you totally notice the currency difference. So for those of you who don't travel to Australia, picture absolutely everything going up in price by 30%, because basically that's how it is now that the Australian currency has gone down. So Australia imports a lot of stuff, and they have tariffs and whatever to stop some things from importing. That's not really important. But like if you want to buy some Lululemon pants, they're just importing it, right? Australia isn't producing Lululemon pants. So what were $100 pants, as soon as the currency goes down, becomes $130 pants. So that's true of my club too, and I feel so bad. Like, people are paying, like, I've had Australians email me, and they're saying, like, I'm sorry, but I just can't afford it. And my honest to goodness answer is, I don't blame you. Like, the Australians right now are paying, I think, 43 Aussie dollars to get one of my kits sent to them. It's just not, oh, thanks. It's hard to say that it's worth it. I mean, I love my Australians and I'm not telling you to quit, but it's hard for me to look you in the eye and say, like, yeah, that's really worth it, because the amount the United States Postal Service charges for shipping is actually a lot less than the Australian Postal Service charges for shipping, but you're paying almost as much as the kit to get it shipped, and the dollar's plummeting. And so I think having a digital option will just give a lot of people more wiggle room, right? And it'll allow more people to commit, like, oh, I'm not sure if I can do 20 plus shipping a month, but I can do 5 or 6 or whatever it turns out to be. So I think that's the best way moving forward. And I think taking a break and putting the current system on hold until it can get smoothed is the thing to do. Especially for summer, like, people don't sign up for new things over the summer. That's like, I don't know, in the knitting world, like, summer's when everyone, like, has a siesta. But there are big things coming. So if you are a member of the Kit Club, take the money and, like, put it in your back pocket and save it, because, like, tons of stuff is happening. I should have, like, not a kit club, what's it called? Like a, what do they call them? Like war bonds? Like, have a FreshStitches savings plan where you can buy gift certificates and blow them all, because there's really cool stuff coming up. I'm working with a lot of independent people to bring you cool stuff, like those fox things, the pendants I had imported in from, where is it? Shoot, I want to say Ukraine or Poland, one of those countries. So I'm really sourcing owlbucks, right? I'm really sourcing stuff from everywhere. I'm working with a yarn company for stuff. Like, there's lots of stuff happening. And so this will also let me bring you that stuff without going crazy sauce. So, okay. That was your question time. All that blabbling was for you to ask questions if you wanted. I really do want to thank everyone who has been a member, because it's been, like, it is a victim of its own success. And it's only going to get better. So we're just taking a little time off, rejiggering, making it awesomer, and just making it smoother. Like, it really, really eats away at me that for some people that's their first time at FreshStitches, and it doesn't even come in a box. Like, some people get so upset it doesn't even come in a box, and that's not how I want people to see me, you know? I got emails when I changed over from the box to the envelope about how disappointed people were, and I know it hurts me too, but do you want to know what? An envelope is 3 ounces lighter than a box. And it's just the truth. And if you're like, people who are international customers, you're paying for 8 ounces to be shipped to you. And if it's 12 ounces, like, that costs me like $10 extra to send it to you. Well, maybe not 10 extra. Well, it depends what zone you're in. But that cost me like $8 extra to ship it to you. And so a lot of people are happier to have it in the envelope. So anyway, stuff. Thank you. Oh, thank you. Yeah, it's been a crazy long time. It's been like 3.5, 4 years. So I really do want to thank everyone who's been along for the ride, and you can always email me with comments, and for sure stay tuned, because there's a lot of stuff going on and you don't want to miss it. The best way is to subscribe to the blog. If you go to freshstitches.com and, like, enter your email address in the box that, you know, asks for your email address, you get an email for each, like, news things too. Yeah, oh, thank you. Yeah, I'm trying to do more scopes. I think there's scopes, periscopes. I can only do them during certain hours when we have daylight in Minnesota. You'll notice I'm not doing it outside because it was 33 degrees when I woke up. Who else is crocheting or knitting a temperature cowl? I am. I might be the only one. I forgot last week, but if you go to Weather Underground, I have the link in my Ravelry group, you can find out what the weather was last week, so it's sort of like you never missed it. So anyway, thank you so much. I'm going to go back to shipping the Kit Club packages, and they will be out to you soon. Bye. Thank you.